Glad to have you join us on the news at 8. I am Bukola Taylor Cole. President Bola Tinubu has called on heads of state and government of ECOWAS to work towards the establishment and sustenance of a regional standby force for the security and economic advancement of the community. Speaking during the opening of the 65th ordinary session of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government in Abuja, President Tinubu, who was re-elected the chairman of the regional bloc, highlighted the expediency of a standby force in the face of growing security threats. He urged the member states to commit more to providing the needed resources for securing the region. President Tinubu advised ECOWAS leaders to leverage the capabilities of Nigeria's National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, which has been widely acknowledged as one of the best on the continent. The president said his government has decided to make the NCTC a regional center to enable all ECOWAS member states to benefit from capacity building and other related opportunities it offers. While calling for unity within the community, the president emphasized that to alleviate the people from poverty to prosperity, it is imperative for ECOWAS to develop innovative approaches to unleash the region's vast economic potential. In his remarks, the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Umar Aliu Toure, thanked President Tinubu for his purposeful leadership, affirming that ECOWAS should not be defined by conflicts, elections, and coups, but by development. And meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has urged public servants to live up to expectation by being accountable to Nigerians. He urged them to always be guided by the fact that the nation's public institutions are not personal enterprises, and as public servants, they are employees of the Nigerian people. The president, who made the observation during the Nigeria Excellence Awards in Public Service in Abuja, restated his administration's determination to creating an environment where merit is rewarded and where every public servant feels valued and motivated to give their best. President Tinubu was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the event, said some loopholes are still being exploited by those saddled with the nation's trust, despite the institutional measures put in place to prevent any form of irregularities in the public service.
More than ever, our public service must live up to its expectations. It's a public trust where every official must account to the people. And ours is to create an ecosystem where not only stand out, but stand apart from those who sabotage us. Even though we have set in place institutional measures to forestall any form of dysfunction in our public service, there are still cracks, often exploited by those given the trust of the nation. But what we must never get tired of doing is reminding ourselves that our public institutions are not personal enterprises, and for that each of us is an employee of the Nigerian citizen.
Underlining the significance of the Nigeria Excellence Awards in Public Service, a private sector initiative in partnership with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, President Tinubu gave the initiative his full support, saying it is strategic to inspire the bulk of the nation's workforce, set benchmarks, and create a ripple effect of positive change in the society. Earlier in his welcome address, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, said awards in public service, a private sector-driven initiative, recognizes and rewards innovation, purposeful leadership, and hard work by exceptional individuals and organizations in the country's public service across all levels of government and the private sector. The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, says women must be seen at the forefront of the food security campaign in the country. She stated this while unveiling her vegetable garden, which she planted to encourage first-time women farmers to join the ongoing Every Home a Garden competition. The First Lady, who has planted 7 vegetables, including water leaf, bitter leaf, lemongrass, and okra, says a little effort on the part of every individual will go a long way in ameliorating food insufficiency. She encouraged first-time women farmers all over the country to join the competition by planting a garden in their homes and ensure the produce is sufficient to feed them and their neighbors.
With my own contribution to the food drive. And I believe that everybody can do it. So get to work and, grow something in your house. And like some people will say, I don't have land, but they call it smart farming. You can grow anything in a bucket. Just grow something. It's free. It's God's gift to man. We all should embrace that. It's God's gift to man. Look at all the greeneries around us. It's God's gift to us.
The Every Home a Garden competition is open to first-time women farmers all over Nigeria. Entries are to be submitted to the Office of the Wives of the State Government of the competitors in the format of a 30-second short video with the details of the competitor by the close of work on September 25. The winner would get 25 million naira cash prize. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has ordered the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, to account for payments of 729 billion naira to 24.3 million poor Nigerians for 6 months. The court also ordered the former minister to provide the list and details of the beneficiaries who received the payments, the number of states covered, and the payments per state. The judgment was delivered by Justice Dendi Dikpeolu following a Freedom of Information suit brought by the Social, Economic Rights and Accountability Project. In his judgment, Justice Dikpeolu held that the former minister is compelled by the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act to give information to any person. The judge also ordered the minister to explain the rationale for paying 5,000 naira to 24.3 million poor Nigerians, which translates to 5% of Nigeria's budget of 13.6 trillion naira for 2021. The Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, and the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities, SANU, have directed their members across the country to mobilize for a nationwide protest. This follows the recent breakdown of dialogue between the Ministers of Education and Labour and the Joint Action Committee of the two bodies. In a circular directed to all branch chairmen of the two unions, signed by the General Secretary of NASU and National President of SANU, the unions said the protest will commence on the 9th of July across the state chapters of the Federation and a national protest in Abuja on the 18th of July. According to the circular, the engagement with the Ministry of Education has not shown any convincing commitment to the payment of the withheld 4-month salaries and resolutions of other pending grievances of JAC of the two unions. They added that after the national protest, the JAC will meet to announce a date when the strike action will commence. The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, has announced the extension of the deadline for registration of all point-of-sale operators, POS, by additional 60 days. According to the Commission, the extension period, which begins from July 7 to September 5, 2024, is to allow operators, especially those in remote areas who might have encountered network glitches, to register. Recall that the Commission had earlier in May given a deadline of July 7. However, in a post on its X handle, it noted that the registration will not end in September. The Commission, however, warned that operators who fail to refuse to register at the end of the extended deadline run the risk of losing such businesses and prosecution for aiding and abetting criminal activities. The Chief Executive Officer CAC Uzaini Magaji said timeline to register their agents, merchants and individuals with the Commission was in line with legal requirements and the directives of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Traffic Monitoring and Investigation Unit of the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation has embarked on an enforcement drive leading to the apprehension of 22 vehicles for various traffic offences. The offences committed include illegal conversions of laybys and walkways into motor parks, unauthorized stopping on highways, indiscriminate parking, and using laybys and walkways as showrooms by car dealers, among other violations. The enforcement drive, which took place in the Ikeja, Ogba, Billings Way, and Berger areas of the state, is targeted towards improved traffic management and road safety. The Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiyemi, says the Traffic Monitoring and Investigation Unit of the ministry will continue to monitor and apprehend violators daily to maintain free flow of traffic and safeguard motorists. He reiterated that enforcement operations will target both commercial and private vehicles that violate Lagos State Transport Sector Reform Law 2018. He encouraged compliance by residents to avoid penalties while urging them to contribute to a safer and more orderly traffic system. Lagos State Deputy Governor Obafemi Hamzat has urged the well-meaning Nigerians to help alleviate the sufferings of the vulnerable. He made the appeal during the public presentation of the Ibile Muslims Community Zakat and Sadakat Foundation. Correspondent Olubukola Akinkolosho has the report.
It's a convergence of Muslim faithful in Lagos for the public presentation of the Ibile Muslim Community Zakat and Sadakat Foundation. Lagos State Deputy Governor Dr. Obafemi Hamzat says Nigeria needs foundations such as this to help government take more citizens out of poverty. He says Lagos government has put many policies and programs in place.
It's for us to now understand that everything that we have, we must also remember to give out part of it. And like we said, zakat is compulsory, just like prayer is compulsory, just like fasting is compulsory during Ramadan if you are ready. So they are telling us that zakat is compulsory. So it's for you and me to learn as Muslims our responsibility.
Speaking on the essence of zakat, sadaqah and wafu, the guest speaker calls for a transparent and accountable method with the use of technology to gain the confidence of everyone involved. He urges Muslims to be appreciative when they benefit from zakat or sadaqat.
Whatever criteria set by the Board of Trustees in line with the Sharia parameters must be blindly and religiously followed. There should be no room for lobbying or, in quote, knowing someone to qualify as a beneficiary.
The foundation is aimed at providing health care, education, and alleviating poverty among citizens, especially the Muslims.
Zakat and Sadaqah are pillars of our faith that embody the principle of compassion, generosity, and social justice.
We need to recognize the impact of technology in making this initiative a lot more flexible and doable. Now that we have the facilities of technology to impact people directly, we should make very good use of it.
If religious organizations and well-meaning individuals adopt zakat and sadaqah and channel it in the right direction, then the economic hardship experienced by all will be a walkover. Olubukola Akinkolosho, LTV News.
Muslims in the Ikorodu division have celebrated the commencement of a new Islamic year. Clerics at the event urged them to imbibe unity and tolerance for peaceful coexistence. Ikorodu Bureau Chief Adesegun Igop has the report.
Muslims Umar across the Ikorodu division are gathered at the Ikorodu Town Hall to celebrate the commencement of the Islamic New Year, Hijrah 1446 AH. Speakers at the event note that the Islamic New Year is a time for reflection on the past and the moments to look forward to the future with renewed hope and commitments to the values of Islam and humanity.
Kọ́mọ nana kùnà mọ́ kọ́mọ nana àpamọ́ ìjìra ni pàtàkì ìjìra ni pé ká dáa jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ká dáa níwà ká dáa lẹ́sìn ká dáa sọ́lọ́run tó dá wa ká dáa sọ́dọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ wa ìjìra náà ni.
To us Muslims, we have to accept the day as a day of reflection. When we reflect
to look back into what we have done, take our steps for better.
They emphasize the significance of the Islamic New Year in the lives of Muslims.
We are doing this as a Muslim community, number one, to promote unity among ourselves. Number two, to also encourage Muslims to deviate from the negative ways of life they are living and go into positive ways of life, which would automatically propel Islam.
It's for you to say something, to promise and fulfill the promise. Though we can see they are trying, but it's unfortunate. Nigerians are too tough to handle.
Guest speaker Fadilat Sheikh Adio Bawala advocates for the rule of law, fairness and justice, giving Muslims a sense of belonging in the polity, while calling on Muslims to use the sacred months of Al-Muharram and beyond justifiably.
Whoever is a Muslim must believe in the Quran wa Sunnah. That is, we must believe in the injunction, the constitution of Allah, the superior. We must migrate from the attitudes, the bad attitudes that we are in, to a discipline and moral attitude that was ordained by Allah and practiced by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Hijrah, apart from migration, it talks about unity, and this is one of the fabrics that have been tearing us apart as a people, from our home, our society, our community, our state, and nation at large, religious-wise, our tribe and everything. So Hijrah preaches unity. And when there is unity, then we'll be able to forge ahead.
Prayers for peace, unity, growth and prosperity were offered for Ikorodu Division, Lagos State and Nigeria. Adesegun Igop, LTV News.
Moving on, one of the effects of climate change is heavy rainfall, which oftentimes results in flooding. This special report takes a look at the efforts of the state government and the roles of Lagos residents to minimize the impact of the heavy downpour. Here is the report. As the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, Lagos is faced with a perennial problem of trading activities on walkways, road verges, medians, setbacks, drainages, pedestrian bridges, and even on main roads. Many of the infrastructure provided by the state government have suffered tremendous abuse from users, leading to environmental degradation, such as air and noise pollution, encroachment on green spaces and natural habitats, increase in waste generation, and traffic congestion.
Many people.
We apologize for that visual mix-up. We'll bring you the report later. Now, moving on to sports, the highly anticipated Season 2 of the Yucateco Boxing League will commence in Lagos this month as organizers announce plans for the forthcoming event. Excitement is building up for the biggest amateur boxing event in Africa after the highly successful maiden season sparked a revolution for the sports in Nigeria.
The highly anticipated Season 2 of the Yucateco Boxing League will commence in Lagos this month as organizers announce plans for the forthcoming event. Yucateco Boxing Promotions, organizers of the event, have revealed that the opening round of bouts will hold on Friday, July 26 at Ikeja GRA, Lagos. Week 2 of the Boxing League will be staged in Mushin on August 2 before the fight train moves to Oshodi on Friday, August 9 for the round of bouts in Week 3. Port Harcourt River State will be the next point of call for Week 4 bouts on August 16 before another stop in Benin City, Edo State for Week 5 round of bouts on Friday, August 23. It will be the turn of Calabar Cross River State to host the country's finest amateur pugilist when Week 6 round of bouts takes center stage on August 30. The boxers are expected to have some days of respite before hostilities get underway in Akure, Ondo State in Week 7 on Friday, September 13. Technical Director, Yucateco Boxing League, Babatunde Laguda, said boxing fans in Ekiti State should envisage a show-stopping event on September 20 when the state capital, Ado-Ekiti, comes alive with Week 8 round of fights. Laguda further disclosed that Osun State will be the next stop for the respective boxing clubs on Friday, September 27, when Week 9 bouts holds in Osogbo. The North Central region is not left out of the Boxing League. On Friday, October 4, boxing fans in Ilorin, Kwara State will experience firsthand the best of amateur boxing when the pugilist flies out for the Week 10 round of bouts in the heart of the state. From Kwara, the next destination for the boxing train will be the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, for Week 11 bouts slated for Friday, October 11. As the season draws to a close, the boxing clubs will journey back from the north to the southwest for the Week 12 round of bouts in Abeokuta, Ogun State on October 11. Thereafter, the league will observe another break to enable the boxers catch some breath before the last lap in Lagos. The Center of Excellence will host the final 2 weeks of the Boxing League, and the ancient city of Badagry will be the center of attraction for the penultimate week on October 18, while the grand finale will hold in Ikorodu on Friday, October 25. 12 boxing clubs have been accredited to compete in the YBL season. Winner of the league will receive prize money of 50 million naira, while the most outstanding boxers in each weight category will pocket 1.5 million naira.
On the foreign scene, more than 130 million people in the U.S. are under threat from a long-running heat wave that has already broken records with dangerously high temperatures. Forecasters said scorching heat will be felt from the East Coast to the West Coast. The National Weather Service said the heat and humidity could team up to spike temperatures above 100 degrees Fahrenheit in parts of the Pacific Northwest, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. In the Pacific Northwest region, records could be broken in Oregon State. The eastern U.S. could also be bracing for more hot temperatures. It is advised that residents drink plenty of fluids, stay in an air-conditioned room, stay out of the sun, and check up on families and neighbors. For more news, connect with Lagos Television on these social media platforms.